What's going on in today's video? 2 reasons to stop the diet after 90 days. Pro Physique coach Ben Berluti here, and today I'm going to discuss 2 reasons why you should stop your diet after 90 days. One of which being more practical in nature, the other one being more physiological. Let's dive right into it. Now, let's define our terms before we get into the nitty-gritty here. When you stop the diet, what do? Well, you're going to focus on maintenance via a reverse diet. What is a reverse diet? It's simply the process of bringing calories up in a slow, gradual, controlled manner to maintain progress that you made during your deficit. Because if you push really hard for a goal, you lose a bunch of body weight, you're doing a lot of exercise. Once you reach that goal, whether it's like a transformation challenge, for myself, a bodybuilding show, once that show is over, once that challenge is over, if you don't have a plan, once the diet is over, you are going to end up where you were before. We don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen to you guys. I want to provide some insights and some guidance on how to make this a sustainable lifestyle, okay? And thus enters the reverse diet. You bring calories up in a slow and controlled manner like we talked about, okay? Now, why would we want to do that? Well, I kind of gave you a sneak peek, right? It's to maintain progress, but let's take a look at our first reason, and it's one that's a little bit more practical. Number 1, after 90 days, you find that you have uncontrollable hunger, which leads to overeating, and you get stuck in a yo-yo situation where you are gaining a little bit of weight, losing a little bit of weight, and in this continuous ebb and flow. Look, after 3 months of strict adherence, that is an extensive amount of time to be adherent to a diet. Chances are you're going to be very hungry, you're going to be craving foods, and you're going to be just a little bit burned out. You're going to be tired. You're going to have diet fatigue, as some say. Hey, that's a good reason to go, okay, let's take some time and focus on just maintaining my progress, allowing myself to mentally recharge, and then I can get back to the process. Look, as I film this, we are entering a holiday season. We have plenty of holiday parties coming up. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we got New Year's. Let's say you're at a time of the year, and it doesn't have to be the holidays, we have a bunch of birthdays coming up, family events or something like that. We're going to have some untracked meals and that sort of thing. You want to be able to work in that flexibility. That's hard to do when you're in a strict diet, right? So I really would recommend focusing on maintenance or a reverse during that time. Now, you will find if your hunger is at a point that is very, somewhat uncontrollable, and you do eat in excess, you may not be able to approach an untracked meal as just an untracked meal. One piece of pie, one piece of cake at a birthday party, a few Christmas cookies at a holiday party could turn into all of the cookies, all of the cake, right? Whereas if our hunger was lower, we could just keep it to that one piece of cake and be good to go and just get right back on our plan, right? But we're in this state where our body is just craving food in the worst way. It makes things very hard to sustain. Not to mention that our hunger signaling hormones are at the point where our body's really craving that stuff, right? So after an extensive diet, those things are heightened, right, and elevated. Hey, your body could benefit from a little bit of a breather, right? The second reason why you should reverse diet and stop your fat loss phase after 90 days is to protect your metabolism. Before I go any further, know that everyone has a different starting place. I used to weigh 50 pounds heavier, okay? I weighed 135 as of today. I compete in natural bodybuilding, right? And I wasn't always single-digit body fat. No, I used to weigh 185 pounds, as you can see right here, at a much higher body fat percentage. When I started my initial calorie deficit, I was having north of 3,000 calories a day maintaining weight, okay? So when I started a calorie deficit, I was able to do so at a range where, it was in the mid-2000s, 2,400 calories, and I wasn't doing any cardio. I was a powerlifter competing in powerlifting, and powerlifters like to have the excuse of not doing any cardio, and I was one of those. I would train hard in the gym, lift heavy weights, and do zero cardio. So when I went into a deficit and added in just some cardio, my body responded well, and after 6 months, I really got about halfway to where I'm at now, okay? Now, I took multiple fat loss phases to get here, But it's kind of besides the point and I talked about that on a separate video, which I will link for you guys. But the point being, I was maintaining weight way up here at 3,000 calories, weighing 185 pounds. That is well north of 15 times body weight in calories, right? So I was able to make a lot of progress. Let's say the same Ben was maintaining weight at 2,200 calories. Okay, so let's say this Ben who was eating 2,200 calories, and let's say he was doing 40 minutes of cardio a day, versus lazy Ben, who was taking in 3,000 calories and doing zero cardio, went to a deficit. Okay, so let's say he went down to 10 times body weight in calories, so 1,850 if we're using the 185 pound example. Again, guys, strictly an example for you guys to illustrate my point a little bit further. Let's say he went down to 10 times body weight in calories, started doing an hour of cardio a day, and he lost weight. Let's say he got halfway to his goal, and then he found that no matter what he did, he could not lose weight anymore. He was 100% consistent with his macros, 100% consistent with his cardio. In addition, he was weight training several times a week. He was doing all the things, but his body would not allow him to lose any more weight. And he's 3 months into the process, right? Let's just use that as an example. And the other Ben was also 3 months into the process, and they were roughly at the same point, right? About halfway to their goal. Let's say low-calorie Ben, that example, right? Again, he's doing everything he could, not losing any more weight. What is he gonna do? I view a low-calorie diet as one that is, quite a bit below 10 times body weight in calories. So when you dip below that range, and we're doing a lot of cardio, you are getting to a very low-calorie place. And let's say you get to that place, you take the crash dieting approach where you eat almost nothing, and you're doing a lot of exercise, you are not going to feel well, not going to perform well in the gym or just in your everyday life, perform your best. Your body may just stop responding, okay? Because your body may be going, hey, you've been taking low calories, doing a lot of exercise for a long time. I'm just going to chill out and maintain weight at this low calorie intake, right? So at that point, low calorie Ben is going to have to go through a reverse diet. How long? Well, about the amount of time that you spent in the deficit, you should be in a reverse, okay? 3, 6, 9 months, focusing on a health phase where you're building strength, building muscle, improving your physique, improving the way that you feel, getting your hormone balance to a good place, increasing your maintenance calories. So if you're maintaining weight at 1,800, and you get that up to, let's say, 15 times body weight in calories. Let's say he got it up to 2,700 calories through a process of bringing calories up in a slow, controlled manner, maybe like by 200 the first week, and then 85 the next week, and a small 50 to 100 calorie increases each week. That's a very small amount to add to your day, right? So if you're making these controlled increases, you're being very consistent with hitting your numbers. It's super important to be consistent during a reverse with your macronutrient target intake as you are during a deficit. Let's say he sees that process through. He will maintain his progress, right, that he made during the diet, and his body's metabolism will be in a good place to go back into a deficit and make progress and get all the way to his goal. Let's say it was a 50-pound reduction in weight, right? I give you guys these example numbers just to illustrate that reason a little bit more. And I know I've said it multiple times today, but just want to remind you guys that it's an example. And if your metabolism needs it, if your body needs it, give it the break it needs, okay? Because if you keep pushing when your body's not responding, it's going to continue to not respond. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, hoping that something different will occur, right? For reasons I mentioned earlier, let's say we focus on a period of maintenance, right? And then, several months down the road, we go, okay, I'm refreshed, my body's refreshed, psychologically I'm ready to go, I have less, family events, distractions in a way. Let's get back to it for another 90 days. You can do that and get all the way to your goal, okay? So buy in for the long run, stay consistent, make it fit your lifestyle, and you will succeed and really change your life, guys, okay? Talk soon.